All right. So again, we're talking about how you are only as good as your weakest link. You're only as good as the solidity of the things you're depending on to support you and to make you whole, right? So we'll start with it. What she says here is avoid the impulse to micromanage. A lot of people, there are people that love to micromanage. And I'm just going to be straight with you. And this I read somewhere and I believe it. If you find someone micromanaging, the problem is not with the person they are micromanaging. The problem is with themselves. They cannot trust themselves. They're out of control. So the lack of control in their own person is what they are transferring to those that are working for them, right? Micromanaging comes from a sense of insecurity. It is a weakness, not a strength. When you find a manager or a leader micromanaging, that manager has issues. It's not the employee that has issues. It's the manager, leader, business owner that has issues, right? Because micromanaging is a weakness, not a strength, right? It comes from a place or person that lacks control in him or herself, and then that's been transferred to others, right? Strength is the ability to delegate and trust. Delegate and trust, right? Right. Delegate and trust. When you think you are the only person that can do it, you're going to die before your time or you will not grow, right? You can only grow to the level of your delegation. How big you can grow is the level that you are able to delegate. Because again, like we said last week, you're only limited. We're all limited to 24 hours. Delegation is what extends our 24 hours beyond the normal 24 hours. I can gain more hours in a day by being able to delegate, right? First of all, I'm able to acquire other people's 24 hours by paying salaries and wages. Then I'm then able to delegate to them to gain more hours through them, right? For as long as I can delegate and trust them, I gain their hours. If I delegate and don't trust them, I still have to micromanage them, right? I have not gained the hours. I've just wasted my money in paying salary and wages. I might as well do it myself, right? So micromanaging is a weakness, right? You have to learn to delegate and trust, right? Obviously, that doesn't mean that everybody you delegate to will do well, right? You give opportunity to growth, and the person refuses to grow, you change the person out, right? You have to give the time to adjust, to grow to that position. If the person does not or is not willing to, then get someone else to do it. But never give in to micromanaging, because you will not go far doing it, right? And it goes on and she says that you have to identify the problem, right? Pull it out at the root and find a solution without taking on the extra work yourself. So if someone is not doing what you have assigned the person to do, you need to be able to find what is wrong, what is amiss, right? And help and work to fill that gap rather than replacing the person with yourself, right? You're either going to help that person grow to the level the person needs to grow to, or if the person refuses to, you change the person out to someone who's willing, ready, and qualified to, right? So you must be able to delegate wisely, right? Empower people to take ownership of certain areas, right? And that's a problem. I used to be in an organization, and that was a problem. That organization had everything it needed to grow, but inability to trust, inability to delegate, right? So everybody was confused as to what their job was and to what they were empowered to do. People had job titles, but there was no empowerment, so there's a whole lot of confusion, and therefore they could not grow, right? They think it's 1,001 other things, but the real issue was an inability to trust. inability to delegate, right? And they could not grow. They were stunted because of that, right? So you need to accept responsibility, and solve problems autonomously if you want your business and your employees to succeed and grow. So you delegate, you empower, right? To take ownership of the area of delegation, right? And allow the person to do it. And that's also for people like me, we used to be a perfectionist, right? I love to cross my T and dot my I, but I had to then accept that everybody's not like me. And I had to be willing to accept what people are able to do at the time T in their life and help them to grow, right? But while they're growing, I need to accept them, right? It doesn't have to be to my standard, right? For it to be good, right? I need to be able to accept people where they are as on the way to where they need to be, right? And I had to accept that, because not accepting that means I have to micromanage. And when I micromanage, the person I'm micromanaging will not grow, because first I'm telling the person I don't trust that person, right? People will only grow to the level you trust them with. If I don't trust people to rise, they will not rise. If I entrust them with something and I trust them to rise, they will rise to that level, right? That's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's just the way things are, all right? So in doing this means that we have to be open and willing to train people, right? To train people no matter the level of experience, right? So training comes from different angles, right? So people can be knowledgeable in one thing, and that pretty much just gives them the basic IQ, right? You need to train them on your walk, in your way, in your culture, in your value, right? To line up with your vision, your mission, right? Pretty much when people come out of school, right? What they learn is pretty much having the IQ to do certain things, whether it be in a technical line, in terms of art, social science, or whatever. What they do does not have to be limited to what they study, because what they studied only gave them the IQ to be able to then exercise themselves. So when they come to work for you, they're not coming to replicate what they studied. They're coming to join hands with you, right, to pursue the mission of your organization, to push towards the vision of your organization, right, to embody the value, the beliefs of your organization, the culture of your organization. All of those they need to learn, right? So they're not just going to catch it on the first day. First of all, when you're recruiting, you're recruiting people that you see have a tendency to imbibe all of this, right? If they don't have a tendency, no matter how qualified they are the wrong people, right? I mean, we started in my company, where I do full time, we're talking about people are the most important asset, right? But that's not fully true. People are not the most important asset in an organization. The right people are, not just people, the right people. So when you're employing, you're looking for the right people. And to know the right people, they have to be people that you believe or you can see that they are amenable to your vision, your mission, your belief system, your culture, and the values that your organization imbibes. Otherwise, they are going to be a mismatch. The right people are the ones that are amenable to what you're trying to achieve. They don't have to know they don't have to be there as at the time of employment, but you see that they are the basic foundation that will push them in that direction. And therefore, you train them, you help them to come to that level, right? For instance, for our poultry that we're building, I've already identified the kind of people I want to employ there. They're not necessarily going to be people that know about poultry, but they're people that have the basic attitude, personality that I can work with, that pretty much flow with the direction of a company that we are building, right? So we will train them about poultry, but I cannot make them who they are not. So I need who they are, and I can give them the ability to do the work. I can make a person have the attitude that I need, right? Not my training ground for that, but I go employ good people, right people, then I can give them the tools they need to do the work, right? So training involves teaching someone your company's language, right? Your company's language, your company's way, language way, right? Don't assume they know it. They can't know it because they just come in new. It's your job to teach them, right? So we need to get people in the way. It's just like Disney will teach us workers, right? What it means to work at Disney. It's a requirement because Disney is not just like any other company. Disney is about making people happy, right? And it's not about the way the employee feels or not. So they give the special training to new employees so that they can catch into the Disney way, right? For us also as a firm, though we're not as big as Disney, there is a way by which we work, right? So we have new farmers here, and my farm manager knows that. We talk about the way we work all the time, right? I've not met one-on-one our farm workers, but they are amenable to the way we work just by what they're doing already. I look forward to meeting with them, and for as long as they stay with us, it will be for us to sell to them the way we work, right? Otherwise, there'll be conflict, right? There's no conflict right now because their personality pretty much flow with the way we work. But we need to enforce that. We need to ensure that, right? And that's something we've done, my farm worker has done, and we will do, right?